Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Boy, we got a good one for you tonight. We're going to be doing more Buffalo Bill. This time it is Chapter 8, The Daring Rescue. Who don't want to know about the Daring Rescue? So we're going to get right on to it because we don't want to waste a minute. But remember, just put yourself where we're going back in time, back in the days of yesteryear. Why we do this is just so that you can relax, not think about the world around you. Maybe things are good or maybe things are bad. But we're going to go back in time when life was at its perils, and there was daring heroes and wild Indians on the plains, and everything wasn't as calm and quiet as it is today. So remember how good you got it. But grab up yourself a good cup of coffee or a nice hot beverage like a cup of cocoa or something like that, or your favorite cinnamon roll or something. Maybe a bowl of ice cream. I don't know. That sounds good too. But sit back, enjoy, or maybe some tea. That sounds good too. Sit back and enjoy the story, relax, and we'll catch up with Buffalo Bill and what he was doing since we last left him off. Tonight we start off with Chapter 8, The Daring Rescue. Let's get right to that. When almost at the start, Spotted Tail missed Dove Eye, and from his side he halted and would not ride on. Though Dave Estes, surmising she had gone with Buffalo Bill, declared that the scout would take good care of her. Spotted Tail was absent and would not go on without her, and the consequence was that both were surprised and captured by the Blackfeet. On being brought back to the spot where Captain Boyd and his party had camped, Dave was rejoiced not to see either Buffalo Bill or Dove Eye there. Neither did he see the scalps, though every man of Boyd's party but the captain had been killed and scalped. Boyd, Spotted Tail, and Dave Estes appeared to be their own prisoners. A big fire was kindled at the camp when they were brought together, and then for the first time Dave Estes knew into whose power he had fallen. A chief, past middle-aged, tall, and his right arm bound in splinters, advanced to where Spotted Tail and his captive companion stood. "Chief of the Sioux, do you know me?" asked the chief. "Yes," said Spotted Tail bitterly, "I know you. You are Yellow Bear, and the thief who stole my child, my Dove Eye, away from me in the night like a coward. But Long Rifle broke the arm that would have slain her, and he has carried her back safe to her people." "It is a lie. She is on the plains, yet my warriors will take her trail when the sun comes up, and she shall be brought back to see her father die. Then she shall be the wife of Yellow Bear." "Never, you hollow-hearted cuss," cried Dave Estes, as careless as life as Spotted Tail himself. "She is safe with the best man that ever scalped a red." "What dog are you to bark so loud?" said the chief angrily. "I am sworn brother of Buffalo Bill, whose bite is worse than my bark, as that arm of yours can tell." "Ah, you are brother to Paleface, who took Dove Eye from me? Good, I will make you eat fire." Pile in, old cuss. I'm not afraid of fire. I've scalped your sort, and I reckon I can afford to go on that. Who are you? Asked the chief to Captain Boyd. I was captain of the men whom your warriors have killed. I am nothing now but your prisoner. A friend of Spotted Tail? No, I never saw him before. What are you doing in the hunting grounds of the red man? Passing over them from great waters where the sun never sets to the big sea where it rises. I have not warred on the red man. Why has he warred on me and mine? Because he hates the pale faces. He would sweep them away as red fire sweeps the grass from the plains. They are as many as the leaves on the trees. They are rooted like the pines in the mountains. The red man's hate shall blast them if they are as the leaves on the trees. The fire of his anger shall burn them if they be rooted like pines in the mountains. Yellow Bear hates the pale faces. He has the scalps of many of on his lodge poles. He will have more. The young brave may get ready to sing his death song as soon as he gets to the village of Yellow Bear. He shall go in company with Spotted Tail to the spirit land. This other dog shall die at sunrise. All right, old rooster, said dauntless Scout. The sooner I'm out of your sight, the better for my eyes. There is no love lost between us. Yellow Bear ordered several of his braves to plant a stake in the open plain and to gather dry faggots so as to have all ready for the torture. Meantime, he had parties out to search for Buffalo Bill and Dove Eye. The torture post was soon set in the ground, and the wood gathered just as dawn of day. Dave Estes, who had been tightly bound from the start, was led to the spot. The brave little scout showed no fear and replied to the taunts and insults of the warriors in bitter scorn, telling them that they were squaws. He boasted of the scalps he had taken of the dead he had left of their race for the wolves to feed upon. He angered them so much that he could hardly restrain themselves from killing him on the spot. Indeed, this was what the gallant young scout desired, a sudden shot or blow to take him quickly beyond the power of pain instead of the wild agony of death by fire. The Yellow Bear had spoken his doom. The braves held back their weapons. He was bound to post, and the light of the coming day grew stronger and stronger. The sun would rise and torture would begin. Spotted Tail looked with pride in his face of the young hero, while tears of pity fell from the eyes of Captain Boyd. Dave paid no heed to either of these. He was thinking and hoping that Dove Eye and Buffalo Bill were beyond the reach of those who were about to sacrifice him. The warriors now formed a circle about the post and began to dance of torture and song of triumph. One brave stood near the post with a lighted brand in his hand, and the others circled around him. He shook it before the face of the doomed captive. Brighter and brighter came the light, the red reflection from the sun so nearly up. Yellow Bear now came into the circle. His face expressed his hate, and in the tone of bitterness he said, "The dog who is brother to Long Rifle is about to roast in the fire which the Blackfeet will kindle. I'll burn clear and go up like like the sun, bright and shining," cried the scout. Burn away, and don't spend a year in talking about it. Father of Light is rising, said the chief sternly. Let the fire drink the blood of the pale-faced dog. At the dreaded moment, as the brave bent down with his lighted torch, a bullet pierced his brain, and the next second a man mounted, leading another horse, bound into the ring and yelling demon. And before a second elapsed, Dave Estes was free and upon his own horse. It was Buffalo Bill who was at his side, and as he handed Dave one revolver, he used the other in the line of the red man. And as both men rode away swiftly, away over the plain, they left dead warriors in their trail, and the rest, like Yellow Bear, utterly astounded, did not think of firing until both were beyond shot. Away sped Buffalo Bill on the matchless Powder Face, while Dave Estes, on his own favorite Black Hawk, rode close on his heels, with his good Spencer rifle once more ready for work, for it had not been taken from his saddle. And when Buffalo Bill, crossing the river, came upon the horses fastened to the edge of the grove, he saw the secure and steed of Dave to aid his bold attempt to save him. Let us take down the river. It is our best chance, cried Dave to Buffalo Bill, as they swept beyond the rifle shot of the Blackfeet. Not for the world, Dave, cried out our hero. Any route but that. Dove-Eye has gone that way to get Custer and his men to come to our help. Our horses are good. We can lead all day and pick off the nearest at long range. We will bear off to the northwest, and they'll follow us, and none will take her trail. Agreed, Bill. Agreed. I thought my time had come when the black-muzzled cuss bent down to set that fire to the timber stacked around me. You were close quarters, and if I hadn't dropped him so sudden and charged to yelling, I doubt if he could have got you off with a whole skin. We had better luck than I expected. They were riding at the topmost speed of their horses and in a directly contrary direction from that taken by Dove-Eye. And as Buffalo Bill looked back, he saw the whole band of Blackfeet in pursuit. They had a long start, and though they're shaken their speed so as not to tire their horses, they kept far enough in advance. Before they had ridden a dozen miles, they were obliged to change their course, for the quick eye of Buffalo Bill detected a fresh body of mounted men, whom he supposed to be Blackfeet, coming up to join their chief. This alteration, of course, took him from the direct line to the hills, hoping then in the night time to hide his trail and elude the pursuit. On rode the scouts, their horses yet fresh and strong, and as they left mile after mile behind, the more scattered became the line of those who pursued. At noon, when they halted in a stream, not more than a dozen were in sight. We'll take it easier, Dave, from this on, said Buffalo Bill. I don't want to get too far, for I'm going to save Spotted Tail. We can use up these fellows at long range and then choose our distance from the rest till Dove-Eye brings Custer up, for I know she will. She is lightning when it comes to riding. All right, Part. We take the few that follow now without leaving this drink. We could, but we'll draw them a little farther, for if any turn back, we might lose them. You're right again, Bill. Always right. You got the coolest head and the steadiest nerve of any man on the plains. That will do for you, said Dave. But come on, I want to find cover. Coming to the country with there a clump of rocks, they looked for cover and soon found it. Behind a clump of rocks and some sagebrush, they dismounted, letting their horses nibble at some grass. When they came within a very long range, there was but a few of mounted warriors, and these came as if their horses were tired out. I wish there were 20 now, when we had such good cover, said Dave, as they drew nearer and nearer. I'm not greedy, said Buffalo Bill, with one of his quiet smiles. We will have more ammunition left for the next tussle. The warriors were now in easy range, but the two scouts, sure of them when they chose to open fire, were in no hurry. They waited to see if any more would leave or come into sight. When the first of these was within 60 or 70 yards, and the hithermost not more than 300, Buffalo Bill quietly asked Dave if he was ready. Yes. Which one shall I take? Said Dave. You take the nearest, and I'll drop the laziest of the lot, the few in the rear. That'll bring the rest to a standstill and end the job. All right, Bill. Say the word, for I've got my level. Fire as you hear the click of my gun, said the scout. The next instant, both rifles sent their uttering bullets forth, and two Indians, singled out, went from their horses to the same instant. The rest, as the brave scouts expected, halted, but it was too late for their safety. Shot after shot, as quick as lightning, flew from the rifles, and the pursuit was ended. Warriors lay dead upon the ground, and tired horses turned away to rest and graze, free from their cruel rider's lash. Now, Dave, we may as well look for meat for supper, and then for a place to camp up towards the hills. I don't believe we'll be troubled much more at all today, and we'll hide our trail when we get water. That is so part, and there is an antelope in reach, said Dave, sending a ball to the heart of an animal as it stood for an instant on a ridge. He rode over, and within a few minutes, a hind quarter, all he cared to carry, was hanging to his saddle, and then Dave turned with Buffalo Bill toward the mountains. The scouts were determined to gain a point from which, with their field glasses, they could scan the country below the watch movements of the Indians and see when the troops were on the march, for Buffalo Bill felt confident that Dove Eye had escaped. Chapter 9. Mysterious Communication. Okay, it was Cynthia's mysterious communication. It was not until her late captors were defeated, and most of them stricken down by Cynthia and Sunflower, knew who it was that had ambushed and attacked them, or realized whether she was only charging from one captor to another, or was once more free. And now she found that it was Wanda herself who headed this party, and who had remained there to rest. While only her best mounted warriors had gone on with Yellow Bear, who had met her in this valley, Wanda looked angrily at Cynthia, and asked how it was that she had been captured with Red Plume. Cynthia, had ever fearful of the wrath of her fierce woman, answered that she had ridden a little way from the village, and was in sight of it when these Sioux rode suddenly up and surrounded her. Red Plume had made a brave resistance. Where is Conchata, the One-Eye? Asked Wanda. She rode with us, but she would have a high-spirited horse, and it ran away with her, said Cynthia, who could hardly restrain laughing as she remembered the way old Hag went flying out of sight. She was a fool. If her neck is broken, it will be small loss, said Wanda angrily. Yellow Bear came to me empty-handed, as I said he would, and with an arm broken. Now he seeks revenge, but he will have no success. But I will give him these prisoners for the torture stake. With a huge tree at her back, she sat and gazed into the fire, while near her Cynthia reclined on the grass. Red Plume stood with his eyes apparently fixed upon the moon in the clear sky, though at times he dropped a furtive glance upon the face of Cynthia, who had firelight fell upon her. At last Wanda closed her eyes, and her heavy breathing told that she slept. Cynthia drew from her bosom the roll of bark which she had taken from the hollow tree, and with a pleased look she read it over. Suddenly she started, and a cry nearly broke from her lips, for another roll, almost like the first, dropped directly in her lap. Cynthia looked quickly around to see if anyone had noticed this, but the only one near her who appeared to be awake was Red Plume, and he was standing with his head turned as if he was listening to some sound. Cynthia looked eagerly all around her, up into the trees, and in every direction. She unrolled the bark, and eventually, written in haste with a piece of charcoal, were these words: "He who loves the sunflower is near her now. She may sleep in peace, for he will watch over her safely. Dreams will hover about her and give her bright visions." "Near me now," she muttered. "Where can he be? And who? And what shape can I see him? A spirit cannot write and leave these signs. Oh, that I might see him!" A sigh reached her ears. From hence she knew not, but she knew she heard it. She looked up into the shadowy tree. She looked on the sleeping forms about her, as at Red Plume standing silent and immovable as a statue. It could not be he. He could not write or use the language found in her letters. "I will try to sleep. Maybe the spirit of dreams will help me," she muttered, "and I will ask the spirit to show him to me so I may remember him if he comes before my waking eyes." Then she lay down on the blanket which Red Plume had spread for her, and soon she slept. Chapter 10: A Pale Face Recognized. Okay, folks, we're going to end right there. I hope you all enjoyed that. As always, we're back. We're back. Oh, there we are. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. That was another one of those Buffalo Bill adventures. It's getting exciting now. Will Dove-Eye make it to find Custer and bring the cavalry? Or will they get captured? Will Cynthia be find her lover? Find who's giving her the notes? Ooh, will Buffalo Bill and Dave Estes make it out alive? Will they come back to save the chief? Well, let's find out next time in The Pale Face Recognized, Chapter 10. So join me then. But remember, go out, do something nice for people. Remember, this is a hard time of year, and being winter and all, if you got some extra food, go donate it to a food pantry. Keep or a neighbor, somebody who might need it, a loaf of bread, whatever it takes. Everybody has their bit. So with that, remember, go out, be the frequency you want to receive. Love you all, everybody. Peace, everyone.